Our new song is available for pre-order at getcominghome.com. Check it out. Download iTunes to pre-order and support our work. We got serious news that I think is going to be important for people. This is the Category 4 hurricane that is hitting Florida right now. For those that aren't aware, this is serious, and we have a very serious story. Click Orlando says Florida residents who choose to ride out. Is it Helene? Is that how you say it?
Yeah, Helene.
Told to write name and information on arm. They're being very nice about it. I believe what the sheriff said was, if you choose to stay behind, please write your name and date of birth on your arm with black marker so we can identify you when you die. That is the yeah, right. So, sheriff's deadly warning. Ron DeSantis has declared a state of emergency ahead of the unprecedented storm. It's already flooding. I don't know, man. This is why I'm always saying, we got this video from Benny Johnson. We'll pull that one up. This is why I'm always telling people to prepare, not because you need to be a prepper who has 30 years worth of beans stored in your basement, but because sometimes it rains. Yeah. And so this is a video that Benny Johnson posted. He said this is a road in Tampa. The storm surge is already flooding. Look at that. That's wild. Wow.
Wow.
Not even as crazy as it could be. But I don't know, man.
Well, I hope he and his family are safe.
Is Benny in Florida?
I think he lives in Florida.
Everybody's in Florida.
I don't know where people live. I thought he lived.
They live on the internet, Libby.
I thought everybody moved to Florida.
You can't
during
dox
COVID.
anybody. Who knows? So Hurricane Katrina was a Category 3 storm, and they were saying this is going to be a 3, but now they're saying it's going to be a 4.
It's already a 4,
right?
isn't it?
Yeah, that's what I heard. As of this morning, I was hearing it predicted as a 4, which means like this is stronger than Hurricane Katrina. And do you remember how devastating Hurricane Katrina was and how long it took for New Orleans to recover?
This is the biggest known storm in the Gulf.
Mm-hmm. That's what I heard.
They say since we started.
This is worse than Katrina. Katrina was a 3.
Yeah.
Oh dear.
Like that's the perspective I feel like we all have to.
That is crazy because Katrina was so bad.
So bad.
Remember, people died, and there was people getting rescued from their roofs, and remember the Superdome, and everybody was. It was
part
terrible.
of the problem with New Orleans is that it's built underwater.
Well, and they had levees break, and there was extra.
New Orleans
flooding,
has
but still
structural problems, but this one is fascinating. When you watch the storm maps come through, I mean the kind of eye of the storm, the most intense part, when I was looking at it, the warning went all the way up to Macon, Georgia. I mean, parts of the main part of the storm, I think, are projected to hit Charlotte, North Carolina.
We're going to get hit.
That's wild. I mean, with all hurricanes, you get a little bit of, like, you get rainy weather if you're in the North Sea or whatever else, but, like, it's so strong that, like, this will be severe weather disruptions for most of the East Coast. That is crazy.
Crazy.
We're in West Virginia, and the reports are that once this passes through, it's going to be serious storms.
Wow.
Not a hurricane, of course. It's over land. It's going to start breaking apart, but it's going to be a massive storm surge for several days or something. And we already had rain.
It's crazy driving around here in torrential rain. It's scary. I've done that. I've driven.
Indeed.
Yeah. I drove once with Andy No from New York to DC, and there was like monsoon style rains. And it was one of the many instances. There have been a couple where I was like, oh no.
Well, don't
let me kill Andy in a car crash.
There will be parts of the country where the rain and flooding, because of the geographic challenges like dips and valleys and everything else, they'll know that Florida has to prepare for the hurricane, right? Florida's out of, you can see all the videos of people like buying up all the water and doing whatever else, like sandbagging their doors.
It sounds like they need to just leave.
Well, but then there will be parts of the country where they will probably experience intense flash flooding, but because they're not like used to being in the eye of the hurricane, or at least that's severely impacted, I bet that they will have car accidents where they are like, well, we all got to get on the road now, and then they're in this monsoon style weather. I mean, I think weather preparedness is number one. Very hard, I think what they were all hoping was that this storm would die off, right? That it would be weaken over, and it just got stronger and stronger.
It was heading west, and then I remember seeing people be like, "Please don't turn east," and then the hurricane went whoop right up the other way.
Hurricane said, "What did you say?"
Take a look at this video. It speaks for itself.
That's hilarious.
So for those that are just listening, it is looks like a John boat or something. It's got a motor, a Trump flag, and they are riding their boat down the street. I will add, the wrong way down a one-way.
Yeah.
Not that I think it matters.
Hurricane season in Florida, laws don't matter. That's not true. I'm just kidding.
Well, perhaps the traffic laws are irrelevant anyway.
They're like, you have this regulated as a road, but it is clearly a river.
I mean, I feel like they're lucky that it's Whoa, look at this. Holy
that?
crap.
Why is he driving in that?
Yeah, you can't drive.
Part of like flash flooding, right? Like they don't realize how fast the water's going to accumulate.
Or you don't. Well, you can't really tell when you're driving on a road if it's going downhill or not.
Right.
And so you're looking down this path and you might not realize it's actually a 10-foot slope.
Right.
So you drive down and then before you realize
Oh,
it,
you're like in the puddle.
you're underwater.
Yeah.
Look at this, man. This is crazy. We don't need that wind noise. It's a sheriff vehicle driving in massive flooding. You know, they're lucky though they got Ron DeSantis.
I was thinking that too. I was thinking like it's good that he's still the governor and not out there on the campaign trail.
Not just that, but I mean, could you imagine like if he wasn't the governor and you had a bad governor, what would Biden like? Biden's not going to say anything. He's not going to do anything.
No, he never
Wouldn't
does.
even know there was a hurricane.
He probably doesn't know there's a hurricane.
No, probably not.
And Kamala's like,
if it
I'm
doesn't
running
hit
for office.
Rehoboth, he has no idea.
I think regardless, he wouldn't have any idea because his brain does not work.
No, his brain doesn't.
He would just be sitting there going, "Oh, Secretary of Vance, what's
windy.
going on? It's windy. I'm an old man." And Kamala
There
Harris.
goes the umbrella.
Kamala would be doing anything. So, you know, here's an opportunity to see. I'm curious what Trump might do in response to this campaign-wise. You think he might show up with supplies? Remember when he was throwing the paper towels to people in Puerto Rico?
Oh, yeah.
And I don't understand why the left got so mad about that.
The left gets mad about everything he does. They just hate him. I mean, he could do anything and they get mad about it. It doesn't matter what he does.
He was throwing out paper towels.
I mean, if he personally went out and aborted babies, they'd be mad. And they love abortion.
No, they'd flip on abortion in 2 seconds.
They would flip. They'd be
Yeah,
like, Trump is aborting baby. He's such a murderer.
Well, remember
Yesterday we loved abortion.
Remember the Babylon Bee when they said, you know, ingenious move, Trump comes out in support of impeachment, forcing Democrats to oppose?
Yeah.
That's the game.
Exactly the whole thing. Yeah, they hate him and they don't care what he does or what he says. And that's sort of, I think, what makes it so much easier for people, I think, to support Trump this time around, you know, openly. Because there's openly, what is it, like 41?
No, I think
40?
it's 39 today.
Is it?
39?
39.
I could double check.
41, I think.
But people are not shy about supporting Trump anymore. They tell CNN they're supporting Trump. They tell anybody. They're like, what? I support Trump. You guys have been lying this whole time. Everything you say
40.
is totally made up.
39, 3 hours, 38 minutes.
And then, of course, if you've
Oh,
got
okay, because it's late in the day.
You've got people you wouldn't expect, like Mark Zuckerberg. Basically, he did a call with Trump after the assassination
Right.
attempt, make sure he was okay. And, you know, normally, you know, 4 or 5 years ago, you wouldn't have that because they'd be worried about the backlash. But now it's become very cool to support Trump and to be open about it. You even had Davos earlier this year, JP Morgan's CEO actually was praising Trump's how the economy was. So you have people that wouldn't have spoken out maybe in 2016 because, it was bad to be pro-Trump. Now they're actually thinking, you know what, he's the only one. He's probably going to win. You know, we need to get behind him.
Wasn't it Jamie Dimon just recently saying that Kamala Harris's policies were not good?
Yeah, and there's been quite a few hedge fund managers as well that have basically said that there was one that said he'd sell off all of his assets if she's elected.
Oh, that's scary.
Has anyone actually just stopped and thought for a moment, like, we speculate out, but what do you think is actually gonna look like if Trump wins?
If Trump wins?
Like, what's the first thing he does? Who's he bringing in?
I think the first thing he does is try and deal with the Ukraine-Russia war and make that stop because he keeps saying that that's what he would do.
I wonder.
You don't think so?
No. I'm not saying no. I'm just saying, like, he's got all these criminal, like the DOJ stuff, the state level stuff in Georgia and New York. Democrats are going to start foaming at the mouth and banging their heads on the walls.
They're going to try and imprison him in New York, whether he wins or not.
Right. They are trying to imprison him in New York.
Yeah. I mean, but the sentencing is what, after the election at this point?
Yeah.
It's going to be with RFK Jr., Tulsi Gabbard. I mean,
Do you think they'll be like in the cabinet?
yes.
Yeah. I love that.
Yeah. RFK Jr.
I really would love to see RFK Jr. whip our health system into place, especially where he keeps talking about nutrition and the chemicals in the body and all of that stuff. I mean, it's so disgusting to go to the grocery store and look at the ingredients and be like, I can't eat that. I don't even have any idea what that is.
And to know that other countries have this
Don't have that.
don't have it.
They don't have
That's
that.
what bothers me. Like,
Yes.
well, I've never like been more fascinated by Bernie Sanders. I don't know if you guys saw this, but he, the CEO of Novo Nordisk, the maker of Wegovy and Ozempic, was testifying before a Senate committee this week, and Bernie Sanders is pointing out like Ozempic in America is over $900, but in Germany it's like 72. In the UK it's less than 200. I mean, and these people, I mean, obviously celebrities use them to lose weight, and they are marketed at times as an anti-obesity medicine, but they're also for people with diabetes. I mean, these are very serious drugs that could help people with chronic conditions. Why is it that we have to pay not just like twice as much, but like 15 times as much as some countries? And I feel similarly about the food ingredients. I mean, why is it that we can't just say, no, we don't want these things in it? You already make it this way for somebody else.
Yeah, just as a British person, I'll say that there's you have the same products here, but taste completely different. So, for instance, Cadbury's chocolate, I can't even eat that here because the sugar is just so sweet. And in the UK, it tastes much nicer.
Much better in the UK.
Much better. And then also Lay's crisps, Lay's chips. In the UK, we have Walker's, which is the same company, but completely different taste. Here, it just tastes like salt. So there's a huge difference
extra
because
salty.
they're a lot
Yeah.
more strict in the UK, and also the EU with ingredients. There's a lot of things they don't allow additives and chemicals and E-number ingredients, whereas in the US they have, of course, all the cornstarch is completely different.
What they do here is, RFK Jr. had a really great video on this. There's something called tartrazine.
What's that?
Do you want to eat it?
No.
Probably not. It's yellow dye 5.
Do you remember? Were you guys? You don't remember this, but when I was a kid, they took away the red M&Ms.
Yeah, because wasn't it red dye 5 or something like that?
Red dye number 5.
Was it 5? So I was allergic to that. And I remember when I was a kid, I had crunch berries and I busted out in hives. And then they were like, we did the allergy test and they were like, it's the red dye, don't eat it. But the messed up thing is that they take words like, what's the word? Let me Google it. They'll change the words and create brands so that you're okay with eating it.
Oh, because then the chemical is a brand name.
That's fast.
Not so much a brand name, but like they can create a new name for it, right? So there's something called acheta powder. Do you know what acheta powder is?
Isn't that crickets?
It's crickets.
Yeah.
No way.
And so there'll be chips, and it'll say cheddar cheese, cornstarch, acheta, and then you're just like, I don't know.
They put crickets in some chips.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah,
they want you to eat the bugs,
Al
Ollie.
Schwab.
and
definitely
they don't
wanna
call
eat
it
the bugs.
cricket, they call it acheta. And crickets taste bad. Sorry, they don't taste good. I know because I tried them.
You tried them?
Oh, I don't mind eating bugs.
I don't wanna
Lobsters are bugs. They're big bugs. They taste great.
Yeah.
Emperor bugs, I guess.
Yeah.
They taste pretty good.
Yeah.
Roly-polies are in the same family as lobsters, aren't they? I'm not going to eat bugs if I don't have to. I'll eat lobster because it's delicious. But the issue is that they're tricking people into doing these things. So they know if they put on the food label tartrazine and like parasite powder, they're like red dye is derived from some insect that they pulverize into a dust and then put in.
Oh, it's probably those little tiny red bugs. You know those little tiny red bugs? Little tiny, they're like little dot red bugs.
No, it's not those. What is red dye made of? A cochineal insect.
Gross.
Like a cockroach?
Let me.
Cochineal.
Here we go.
Spelling bee.
This is what you're eating when you're eating red dye. This is what you are eating.
Ew.
They take these little bugs and they mush them. And see? They mush them. These little red bugs.
So they're putting that in like chips and things like that and snacks?
Yeah,
So candy isn't vegetarian
when
when
you
they're-
drink fruit punch, when you're eating little candies and fruit snacks, this is what you're eating.
Wow.
It doesn't need to be colored that way. They do it so it looks it's nuts. I don't want that garbage. I don't want
No,
I don't want to eat it.
want any of that.
So I'm
Kids-
staying away from all that stuff.
One of my sisters would take, when she was really small, that we'd give her children Benadryl, and it would make her more hyper. And her pediatrician's like, oh yeah, this is a reaction to red dye that's sometimes in Benadryl. And I've noticed now, this was a long time ago, but
Why do they put red dye?
'Cause it's, like,
to make
berry
you
flavored?
hyper in Benadryl?
it's not
which is
supposed to. Just like a
chill you
certain
out.
percentage of kids have this reaction. So I remember it was just difficult to find the dye free, but now the dye free is everywhere. I think because people are more aware that just because they say it tastes like berries, everyone knows it's medicine. It's obviously not berries. We don't need to dye it red and potentially put something additional into your body separate from someone like my sister who has a reaction to it.
We gotta stop eating garbage, guys.
I'm all on board.
But
with
it's weird
that.
because I am kind of advocating for more government regulation, which I would normally be against. But in this case, what is happening where Americans are somehow just getting the worst products and have no way to demand?
Well, we
better?
have no way to. Yeah, like how much of the meat comes with antibiotics in it, right? Like if you want to buy meat that's just like, free range without all these drugs in it, without pesticides, it costs way more and it's really hard to find. That's like a real issue.
Yeah.
The stuff with the, there's GMO or whatever in our vegetables. We don't even know what's in them. We don't know what's in the food that is grown that we buy fresh.
Okay, I just got to say this, right? You don't want to eat a cheddar, do you?
Crickets, no.
No, but you'll eat these. You'll eat cochineal insects.
I don't really eat a lot of candy, so
It's not even it's in soda.
What is it?
It's in
I don't
everything.
drink soda.
Vitamins.
Nope.
It's in anything with red dye.
I think we should try and find one of these things that I actually eat because so far we have not landed
What do you
on.
normally eat?
So yes, you make a lot of your food from home, like at home.
Yeah,
I think the problem is for Americans who
fresh
have to
food.
like depend on prepackaged
even when I make
foods.
like frosting, even when I make like buttercream icing, I use actual strawberries to make it,
You
But
don't
if
put
you're someone
no
who's, like,
dyes.
which doesn't come up
on the
red.
road a lot,
Did
like,
you know
if you
that?
are-
Like berry, like if you make strawberry, it comes out white.
Of course, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like if you're someone who is on the road all the time, you are dependent on having prepackaged
Oh, for
foods.
sure.
You're-
It's not easy. And like when I do travel a lot and it's hard to like get decent food. So I'm always like going to the grocery store and being like, here is some yogurt. Here is some bananas,
Yeah.
Because
you can't just like rely on food sources. to
No,
buy
and it is
crazy
hard
stuff.
when you travel to get like fresh veggies and stuff.
Thanks for watching this clip from Timcast IRL. Make sure to check out the live show Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. on this channel. Subscribe and we'll see you all there.